Hello, welcome back to Suburban Hunt 365. I am DJ, and we are at the range today. Reloading bench has a lot of parts on it. I'm doing a project with another shotgun, but I wanted to bring this to you, so we are filming it down here at the range. So as you can tell, there's a shotgun in front of me. We will be continuing on with our shotgun series here on this channel. And the last video that I did was the rifled slugs with a rifled choke. And a couple of comments were, well, that choke's meant for sabots. Okay, fair enough, I give you that, but I did want to test it, so we'll see how that went. If you haven't, again, please check out the link above. But today what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the sabots. Now, I went to Sports Academy, I went to Bass Pro, and I went to Cabela's. Cabela's ended up having the better inventory, but all I could find were Hornady 12 gauge sabots. For whatever reason, I know there's Federals out there and some other brands. I am on the look for those, and I will be putting out a video for those, but the only ones that I could find in the store readily available to test were the Hornadys. So basically what we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at the Hornady American Whitetail 325 grain interlock. Then we're going to move into the 300 grain SST. Then we're going to move over to the Super Performance 300 grain Monoflex. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to be looking at the Custom Light Reduced Recoil, which is a 300 grain FXT. So just a little bit of background. I did accidentally shoot one of the American Whitetails, mistaking it for the rifled slugs at the range, the last video that I did, and it missed the target completely. I think only a couple of them hit the target. So I had at least a little bit of heads up to put a cardboard backer behind our target, so that way no matter how big the group is, we could see it. But I am using my Remington 870. This is topped with a Vortex Venom, and we will be at 50 yards. And again, this is a Carlson rifled choke. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. Let's look at the Hornady American Whitetails. All right, and there you have it. That's exactly why I'm glad that we had a little bit of a heads up on needing the backer, because I would have not gotten the last, or actually the first shot in this series right there on that left hand side, just missing it for about an inch, but it was the entire target. So just so you guys know, I was pointing at the top red dot, lining up this red dot with the top red dot on there. This gun is sighted in for the Federals that I went hunting with. If you guys haven't seen that particular video, the link here is above for the Oak Ridge hunt, but it's sighted in. A lot of these other ones are dropping lower. So again, I've been using the top red dot as my point of aim. So we have a humongous 13 3/4 inch group. And again, this is at 50 yards, 13 3/4 of an inch. I'm pretty certain that that's the biggest group out of the shotgun that I've gotten, hands down, bar none. So not an awesome way to start out the sabots with the rifled choke. But we got 3 more to go through, so let's go ahead and check this out. Next up is going to be the SSTs, which are a 300 grain. See if they do any better. All right, well, at least we got it down to one target, right? Not the whole board. All right, so that group came in at 8.5 inches. And again, this is with the SSTs, 300 grains. 8.5 inches is not awesome, but from a 13 3/4 inch down to an 8.5 inch, we're getting a lot better real fast. So looking at those velocities, we're at 1677, 1677 again, nice. 1753, 1776, oh, that's a nice year. And then lastly, a 1466. Okay, so we got a little bit of variance in our velocities there, but 8.5 inches. Okay, so 8.5 inches. Let's go ahead and let's move into the Super Performance 300 grain Monoflex. Let's see how that does. All right, now that's actually a pretty decent group. I'm actually surprised at that, because I mean, we went from 13 to 8.5, now at a 3 3/4 of an inch. Again, this is at 50 yards. Not a terrible group. I would be willing to try those out at some of the places that I go hunt because I'm within 50 yards. So 3 3/4 of an inch is doable and by far the best we've had today. So that is the Monoflex. And again, that is another 300 grain projectile. Now, those of you that have noticed that there are no velocities on this particular one, well, that's because when I put up my Pro Chrono DLX at 12 feet, because when you look at the instructions, it says between 5 and 15 feet. I had it at 12 feet, and the wad slapped the screen so hard it broke the screen on my chronograph. So there was no way for me to be able to pull off those speeds to be able to give them to you because it destroyed my chronograph. Now, as you can tell by the target, the projectile did make it downrange, but the wad itself decided to drop down low and slap the living hell out of my chronograph. So a little sidebar with that, this is the second chronograph now that I've had damaged from this particular brand. The first one was with my muzzleloader series, where I did miss a couple videos because I had it too close. I had it about 7 feet, and the percussion from the muzzleloader was such that it actually destroyed the screen. And now here we are, the wad just slapping the hell out of the chronograph, again breaking this one. So I just have bad luck with these guys. We'll do a different video on the chronographs and the pros and cons to each one of those later, but that's why we don't have the velocities today, is because the Monoflex decided to kill my chronograph. All right, guys, so we're going to move on to the last one here, which is the custom lights. That is a 300 grain FXT. So let's see if there's any chance that we can get better than 3 3/4. Okay, well, that went the wrong way. It didn't go all the way the wrong way, but it went the wrong way. That is a 5 1/4 of an inch group, which will come in second today out of these. But the Monoflex is definitely gonna take the win today with a 3 3/4 of an inch. But as you can see with the chronograph there, the Magneto Speed V3, it's a bayonet style chronograph. It doesn't really pick up well with slugs for whatever reason. I've got everything lined up the way it's supposed to according to the instructions, but it just doesn't do the slugs well. It does the muzzleloader pretty well. I've used that a bunch. You guys have seen the videos. It does really well with the muzzleloader, but it just doesn't pick up these slugs for whatever reason. I've tried multiple different settings. It just doesn't seem to pick it up. But the two that we did pick up were at 1451 and 1469. So that's what I can give you from the velocities of that last one. Unfortunately, it just doesn't pick it up. But again, we'll do another video on the chronographs, pros and cons. So today is definitely going to be the 3 3/4 of an inch with the Monoflex that wins it. So with these Hornadys, would I use them? The Monoflex, I absolutely would be willing to use those, run those, and see what kind of damage we can get done. But the rest of them, not so much. I mean, we did have a 5 1/4 inch with the custom lights, with the recoils, or low recoils, but the American Whitetail, not a chance. 13 3/4 of an inch group, there's no way I'm using that one. The SSTs, no way. Again, it was an 8-inch group, not terrible, but it's an 8-inch group at 50 yards, guys. So 3 3/4, 5/8 is really kind of stretching it there to the end. So would I use them? The Monoflexes, yes. Rest of them, not so much. Now, I am in the process of acquiring a rifled barrel to basically redo this same test with a rifled barrel and see what kind of accuracy we can get out of this. I've seen other YouTube channels do pretty well with the rifled barrels, so I'm really excited to be able to get that and run that and see what happens. And as I mentioned, I will be looking out for the other Federals and other types of Sabots to run through this rifled choke. So get you guys as much information as we can. So guys, if you guys are still with us, I can't say thank you enough for being here with this channel, growing with this channel, and being part of what we're doing here at Suburban Hunt 365. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. That really do us a favor. And as always, your comments drive this channel. Please comment down below, let us know what you think, what you've seen, what your experiences are, and let's have a conversation about it, because that, for me, is what I love doing. So guys, from Suburban Hunt 365, I am DJ. We will catch you on the next one.